Flat Earth British sub-channel. Lee speaking. Hi guys, and Munchie the cat. Yeah, so just a little look through some stuff. I think it's good to. I think it's good to keep looking through things, and hopefully your mind will just tell you what you're watching. If you see what I mean. You can have repetition, and then you end up learning a pattern and stuff like that. You know, it's all psychology. So I suppose this is psychology then, you know. But the point of it being not to kind of manipulate your mind, because I'm not going to tell you anything really. I'm just suggesting things as we go along. So what was my point? I forgot the point. Let's just crack on, shall we? Right, so funny, is the Starman a distraction? Yeah, so that's Martin's latest video. I wonder if it's got anything to do with Peter Pan. I've been thinking about Peter Pan, having looked at all those reliefs. You know, the little, I mean, we call them cherubs. You know, with like pan pipes and stuff like that, you know. I wonder if it's going to be about that. I haven't seen it yet. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? But anyway, so I found this. I don't know how on earth I found this. It seems to be some kind of it's German. It seems to be like a magazine or something that's been going since the 1800s, perhaps before, but I haven't been able to navigate through it until about 10 minutes ago when I realised that I've got translate to English. I completely forgot. I set it all up to translate if it's French into English, but yeah. So anyway, I'm going to put a link underneath the video so you can look at it. Basically, these are all different magazines from different months as far as I could work out, and you just click on one that you think is interesting. I saw this, and this is how I've got these that we're going to look at in a moment. Yeah, so just click on it. Illustrated 1839. Anyway, unfortunately, you can't zoom in very far with these. I mean, if you really wanted to get into them, you'd have to right-click and save it onto your computer and then open it on something else, of course. Yeah. Unfortunately, the translate doesn't translate the text in a picture, unfortunately. But yeah, I thought, what on earth is that? What in the world is that? No idea. So anyway, I digress. So that's what I was doing, and I said I'll put the description in the box. So I initially wanted to look for mud-flooded buildings in the 1800s, and I just ended up. This is how I ended up here. So I thought, well, I'll just sort of talk a bit about mud flooding through it, but then also see if there's anything else that's curious, you know, because that's what I do. I look into all of this old stuff, and I look for clues, and I also look for mistakes if they're fake, you see. So that's what I do. Well, I thought this was rather curious because this is just metal. It's not white painted in between these beams. It's actually metal. I'm going to go left and right in a second because I think there's a couple more where it shows you that that is actually the case. So what on earth would be the point? What would be the point? Just for decoration? Right? I mean, surely it's going to be more. It's got. It has to have something to do with electricity, doesn't it? You know. I mean, in effect, that is like a kite. Yeah. All you need is a key on here. Do you see what I mean? This, this is practical, and it's to do with electricity for sure. And then you've got these within the vicinity of it. It's got to have something to do with it. How could it possibly not? Well, that's my mind anyway. But you think what you think. You know? We'll find our own truth. I was a little bit dubious about this. I don't think it really is a mud flood building. In fact, I think it's just perspective, because we're looking at a distance, and this here is just a straight path, but because of perspective, it's going into the horizon. You see? So that's not really mud flood, in fact. Yeah, so I just go left and... Oh, that is one. Let's go right. Was that the same one? That's the same picture. Oh, I just needed to go down. So there it is again. Let's see, a bit there. So when you look at all these old atlases from Martin, Moscow or St. Petersburg, whatever, you do tend to get a big kind of a dome, and then other rods sticking out around within the vicinity, just within the city. Yeah, I just thought I'd point that out. So a building or some kind of a facility for something. That's all there was for that. Get rid of that. Again, I can't zoom in any further. This is 1889. Yep, I just noticed on this one you've got the chaining or cabling metals coming down onto this part here, but not here. It's different. It's the word conductor, guys. Is it an electrical conductor? I'm not an electrician, unfortunately, so I can't tell you. And this for something else. Now, these weren't originally churches. They were something else, they had some other function. But then religion came along and then took these and made them into church buildings, basically. But just take a note of this. I've long had the suspicion that when you've got things like this, like that, in like tall buildings, nowadays they've just shoved a clock in there, But I just wonder if it was some kind of a meter, a dial with just a single arm pointing out, to full or half empty or half full, depending what kind of guy you are, But then it's just been removed and they've shoved a clock in. Or if it was too big, then they just filled it with glass. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I'm just wondering if it's possible to understand what these buildings were by what these buildings look like. Do the buildings themselves? Is there a hidden teaching within the building itself to show you what it's doing? So, but just just remember this section. This section. Yeah? Because so far, from the pictures that we've looked at, we've been looking at this section. You've got a dome. You've got what could be the power source. And then you've got the tops of all the buildings and the rods. Or rods? Yeah, rods are going into it. Right? Or is it just a coincidence that that very design is exactly the same as what these are? You know, you've got this pointy rectangular boom going up into the sky, boom, rectangular things point up into the sky. To that, does it represent the sun or the moon? What does it represent? Is that some kind of a I don't know, diagram of what electricity looks like in a certain whatever? I don't know. I'm just chucking this all out, guys. Okay, pop on to the next one. Okay, yeah, just a bit off subject again. A mud flood building. We can tell it's mud flood because, well, the level slopes down. This is the ground level. So he's just peekaboo, just peeking out there. Hello, hello. And when you get down this end, you've got a lot more, see? Because this was straight, like that. Okay. So from looking at the Canadian cities the other day, I was noticing that there seemed to be a top, and they clearly had built a top what was left. So the mud flood in this particular photograph, I don't think it tells me where it is. Well, I'm just assuming it's Germany. Anyway, so what's happened? They've come here. The mud's come up to a degree. So this isn't like the top floor. Right? This isn't the top floor. This looks like it was the top floor. There's a bit left there. There's a bit left there. So I'm guessing this was the top floor, if not second from top. And I thought to myself, well, no, now I'm going to be able to tell any building if it was built before the mud flood. The last one, whenever that was, 1500, something like that. I'm going to be able to tell. So I saw this photograph and I thought, oh, this is like Tudor, isn't it? Or Edwardian, or you know. So I thought, so all buildings that look like this, they're actually from before the 1500s. And then I thought, oh, no, because I saw this. I say, they've built all this in. This has all been built in afterwards. They've just patched it up. Yeah. I mean, would that been the original roof? Yeah. But all they found was this section. And that was all that was left, and then they've just patched it all up. Interesting though. Yep. So yeah. Mud. Oh. Right, next one. Let's move that up a bit. If you can read German, you'll know where this is. I haven't got a foggiest. German or something. I say it is Germany. I was looking at this. I thought, okay, yes, we've got mud flooding. I can tell by that. like this. And then I was looking at where the top level may have been to this original building. And I thought perhaps here, because it's different. You don't have these pillars on down here or anything, do you? So I could only conclude then that this style of building is post mud flood. If it was the other way round, then I would have said, well, this type of building was mud flood, obviously. So is this the original top? Yeah, this line. Gosh, I hope my mouse is working. Is it working? All right. Yes, it is. Now, is that the level that they arrived at when they came back to these cities in Europe? Could it be that this part, this roof, these roofs, were here on top? So they didn't just want bungalows. You know, I thought, no, what we'll do is we'll remove this. It's going to be here. We're going to remove the roof, stick that down here, yeah, build up 2 floors, yeah, and then take the roof back up and reassemble it up here. Is that what happened? What do you think, guys and girls? But yeah, just worth a note. This is post 1500s. As is that, that, and that kind of architecture. Yeah, it has to be, doesn't it? It couldn't be anything else. Anyway, you make up your own mind. I thought this was interesting. I reckon that's metal there, and it's just been covered over for whatever reason. But yeah, wow. It looks like it's being. I think this is in Berlin. I think. I thought, is that water? Is it like a fountain? And is that like a fountain as well? But I thought, well, no, how's it getting up here then? And I thought, oh right. So this is actually collapsing, and the guy's been so lucky that he's been able to capture it at the time that it fell. And I thought, come on, Lee, wake up. This is a controlled demolition. Yeah, they had a countdown and the cameraman was ready. Boom. Yeah. So they're getting rid of evidence. Anyway. Or would you not agree? Right, yeah, so back to the old electrical part again, or energy, capturing energy. Now, I mean, this caught my eye to begin with, thinking, what? That looks like there should be some pipes going through there, pipes coming out, from each side. I mean, I know nowadays they've just shoved clocks in there, and say, oh, yes, well, when this particular building was built during Victorian times, Her Majesty wanted everybody to know what the time was, so basically they put clocks in so that the entire kingdom would be able to see what the time was, regardless of the geographical position in the town or the kingdom, as it were, providing they had a telescope to reach it. Blah, blah, blah. That's what they say. But I mean, that's a bit elaborate just for a clock, wouldn't you say? Look at the specification, the technology, the meticulous, angles, curvature. I mean, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. What? if this was a container of sorts, you know, what if these were vents? Why? 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 It has a purpose, surely. It serves no purpose if it's just a housing for clocks. But it's just too good. It's built too well for such a menial task as being a clock. Or maybe you think it is a clock. Maybe I'm wrong. Uh, if you can read German, don't read this. Right? What do you think this is? Is this a blueprint for a building, or is it the schematics of a device? Well, it's supposed to be the blueprint of this building. But what if the building is a device? Next. Next. Now, this is 1889. I don't know where it is. I don't think there's a dam in Liverpool that I'm aware of, anyway. Oh, I can zoom in. I'll zoom out. Now, in this year, yeah, and this is when the uh, engraving or wood carving was done of it, or rather the etching or sketching of the etching was done in this time. But whatever way round it goes, this existed before the guy took this picture one way or another. Yeah. So at this time, with this kind of work, they could also have built a pyramid. The technology is there. Unless, of course, this was a pre mud flood building. Or, yeah, I don't know. What do you think, guys? I mean, that's a lot of work. And you've got the angle. Yeah. Next. Yeah, another mud flood building. Yeah, this is the ground level. I mean, I mean it's hickledy-pickledy, isn't it? The placing of the windows. Look, you've got those two there, and you've got that one is down, this, there, the top of the frame. The top of the frame is further up, unless that's a trick of the eye. But there's no trick here. That's definitely lower than that. You know, it's just odd. You know, it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, stuff like that. But this is all over the place. Well, this part has been built later, I would say. Perhaps this part as well. Um, it's different, isn't it? The colouring is different. I don't know why. But you know, it's just another picture, another obscure picture to look at. I guess that's inside. I mean, I wonder if this really was a dwelling originally. You know, I wonder, especially when inside you've got split flooring. You know, why would you have split flooring? I mean, normally when you get split flooring, it's because you've got a massive shell of a building and you want to cut costs and you want to create some, sort of definition within the space, so you create different levels and stuff like that. The other reason might be because this might, I mean, in today's day, uh, this might have been like a factory or something like that. This section here might have been a boiler room or something, so it's down. This section had another function within the building for what it did, But it's just the way it is, You just have levels in factories. Just a better person could explain it better. But yeah, I'm just saying, that's all. I'm not telling you what's going on. I'm just pointing out, things that don't look right, things that aren't the same. And yeah, just notice it's split level. Why? Why split level in here? Right, next. Right, I spoke earlier about. Right, hold on a sec. Yes, I spoke earlier about the design. First off, if you're a sci-fi fan, this looks like a super spaceship, that kind of a design. Anyway, space isn't real; it's just fantasy. Yes. Anyway, sorry, I digressed there. So we call this a church today because that's how our brains have been programmed to recognise things. So we recognise these as churches, but if they're not churches, previously, what would they be? And I was saying, can we see what these buildings were through there being a teaching in the design of the building? So again, well, the structure, the oh, the shape mirrors the construction itself. The pattern is the structure. So if you're looking at the patterns here, obviously it's sort of like going like that. So the top of the buildings, these spires, would be this part here. I can't zoom in anymore, I'm sorry. Or that part there. Yeah, I mean, this particular building, we haven't got like a cross symbols on the top. But we've seen it elsewhere. But this one does. I mean, here. So that is that part. This part is this part. And then that's a dome. I think I just lost myself. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, this part is the dome, which we've seen in other buildings, in the atlases and stuff like that. You've got a dome, and then it just goes down further, and then we sort of like get down to this level. Then we're talking about here, kind of thing. But yeah, just that arch. It's a dome that sits on top of a building, and then you get these kind of like pointy bits, like these. Let's go up. I kind of like that, and then you've got a bit sticking up. So then you've got a bit sticking up. So then we've got another pattern here. So it's basically channeling. It's going into something. So this building, its job is to go into something to gather this or to connect to this. Now, obviously, it's a circle, and it's facing up into the sky. So, is it the sun or the moon if you know that sound, yeah, it has vibrations and it has patterns. So like if you stuck a load of if you put a speaker on the floor facing up, put a piece of cardboard on top of it, and then put on some, I don't know, some kind of grain sugar or salt or stuff like that. When you play different frequencies of sound, you get different patterns. So is that what this is? When we see all these coloured glass windows in what we call churches, yeah, but the actual framework within the glass, the lead thing, the pattern of it, is it a frequency? What more can I say? Is it just a coincidence? The dome, atop the dome, you have a rod going up into the ether, as it were. Sometimes you have like chains coming down off of the rod. Sometimes it's just these, and there's no dome. Sometimes it's just a dome and a rod, and you don't have these, but they're all pointing up. I mean, it's just a coincidence. And again the same, and again the same. So it's the building telling us what it is doing by design. Sorry, excuse me. But of course, mud floods and everything else has come. No, I mean, I don't know if this is pre-mud flood. I can't really tell from this, you know. But the church has got hold of it and put religious figurines all over the place and try to hide it. Yeah, so you don't see what it's telling you what it is. All you see are the little saints, or the little Catholic dead mediators that have been made holy in heaven. You know? Anyway, worth a thought, don't you think? Next. Well, I really don't know what to make of this. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've got a dome. Is that the sea that's above the dome? Are these lights? Does that mean that these are stars and that these people are angels? Because some people believe that the stars are actually angels. Could it be that? Or, I mean, they do look like people. Are they holding light bulbs? But because they're within the vicinity of this building, yeah, whoever's got a light bulb in their hand, it will light up because of atmospheric electricity. Could it be that? I don't know. But as I was just saying earlier, with the split level, now if you came into a building like this and you thought, well, okay, I've just bought this place, but it's a little bit on the large side, you know, it's a bit kind of daunting, and I want it to be like cozy. So what do? Well, you make some, split levels, put a floor, maybe a triangular kind of floor there or something like that, with a staircase, metal staircase going up, and then maybe just a just a one angled staircase going up with another level up here, to sort of split the place up, make it a bit more interesting or something. Oh yeah, might tell me where it is. St. Louis, I think. Or is that down here? Well, only a German would know. Well, that's... No, never mind. I don't know. Hopefully you guys and girls can tell me. Yeah, that's what I see again. I don't think this is a clock. You don't build something like a house. Or is it a house or is it a clock tower? Or is it a clock tower on a house? Uh, I mean, what we'd be told today, it says, it'd say like some rich gentry lived here, yes, and then all of his slaves, his menial workers, yeah, they'd be out foraging the forest and hunting to bring back the lord and lady's meal for the evening, yes. And so obviously they all needed to know what the time was at all times. So what the lord and lady have done here is they've positioned clocks north, south, east, and west, so all of their minions around know what time they've got to be back. Yes, that's what we're told. That's the kind of crap they come out with. Yeah? It just sounds so feasible, doesn't it? Well, I can't tell if that's a clock there. I can only see one hand. But again, I think this is a meter, some form of a meter. I reckon this has a function. I think that is not a window originally, but a vent for some reason. Something's going on in this part, in the dome, I think. But because of pressure and stuff like that, it needs to vent or something like that. Something along those lines. Um, Martin put me onto this whole thing about arc lighting. Basically, if you've got a power cell and you've got two carbon rods attached to wire, which are attached to the plus and the minus, like on a battery, the closer that you move the two carbon rocks together, you'll get an arc of light so bright. You know, when people do welding, arc welding, that bright, it'll blind you. So, could this be the whole thing about the M, the arch, double M, or just a one arch? Yeah. Is that like a Tesla conductor? Is that the arch? An arc, sorry. The arc of energy. When you bringing the plus and the minus together. Yeah. Does the building tell, is the building telling us what it is? Yeah. Okay. This isn't a very good photo. But I did notice on this dome that this seemed to be in sections. In sections, you know. And these look like porthole windows, don't they? They may well have been vents in the beginning. Yeah, clearly a pre-mud flood building. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can't see where it is. It's so bad. Quality is so bad. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Oh, uh, yeah. I mean, this is really. I'll just zoom out. I mean, just have a look for a minute. Now, my brain tells me, yeah, but this is like castle. This is like castle building. It's a castle. Yeah. Well, that's what we're taught. Yeah, it's a castle. Uh, so that's the first thing. Then I notice you've got all this here. It looks like a little bit Egyptian, doesn't it? Almost. Anyway, yeah, noticed that. And then I thought, what, what what's that? What are they doing on top there? You know, I mean, that's quite high. Right? So you have to wonder how they got up there in the first place. And why would you anyway? I mean, why would you build something that high? Yeah, because every day you're up and down all these staircases. I mean, that's going to be like quarter of an hour one way getting up there. You know. Oh, this is 1860, by the way. Um, so there's that. But then you look at this and you're thinking, well, I've seen these before. They're domes, aren't they? Now, I don't think they're not dwellings, are they? Not dwellings. And then look over here, look, there's loads more. Now, what possible purpose do they serve? But what is going on here? What is going on? Is this a castle? I don't think it is. Now, as I was looking at it, I thought, well, this is mud flood here. Now, this is quite early on, isn't it? You know, because it's still sinking by the looks of it. Well, you've got a couple of, so you know, mud flood damage because it's ruins, isn't it? Places in ruins. Bit of ruin over there. It's hole in the wall there. Hole in the wall there. Um, I'm thinking, how deep does it go? And when I looked at it again, I'm thinking, how deep does it go? What would it look like? I thought, no, it can't be. It's not a chimney, is it? They're not chimneys. I mean, that would be a real shocker, wouldn't it? But who builds a castle like that? You know? I mean, how high is it, guys? And there's all this um, domage and all over here. Was it the same time as this, or was it later, around 1860? You know, were they adapting these things into gaining free energy at that time? Is that what happened, or was this all part of the same castle building? If it was a castle, and if it wasn't a castle, what was it? So yeah, little mystery there. That little mystery. Um, yeah. So, oh gosh, this is just confusing. I don't know what's going on here. I'm so confused by this. So confused. I mean, this looks like the top of a mud flooded building. That's the top. Yeah. And the same here, the top. Yeah. And so, because it's too low, you can't just walk off street level into the house because you smack your head on the floor above, which would be the roof. You'd smack your head on the roof. So they build staircases to go up and make the actual attic a new floor. Yeah, and then they just build up, build up. Same here, staircase, new floor, then they add the rest. Like, yeah, I can see that. I can see it's a mud flood because you've only got 3/4 of a window there and just over half here. Uh, but then you've got what is this? You know, what? It's not straight. Different levels, different shapes, different widths. It's odd. It's so odd. It's not how you imagine a house to look. You know, why is this pane wider than this pane of glass? You know, why? Uh, this side, this is like arched, and this is just rectangular, and this one is you know, it's all odd. Everything's odd. Why is it odd? Was it not a house to begin with? I don't understand. Nothing makes any sense. And what's that? If that's a chimney, I mean, what? Why you got all this on it? Huh? So odd. I don't read German, so I think that says villa. So as far as they're concerned, they're houses. What kind of houses are they? Yeah, so that's just for any German people watching. You have to pause it to read it. Right, okay, it's just a bit odd. These reliefs look very similar to the ones in London. With this one, I can't really see. It might, if it's a boy with a todger hanging out, then it's not that nice group of people that I found in London. You know, on the reliefs, the sculptures on the buildings, it's the other lot. And if it is this lot, then I reckon Germany have invaded England at some point. But I've seen all this in Rome as well, so maybe the Romans invaded Germany and invaded England. Yeah, because I think the group in London, they wouldn't have invaded anybody, from what I could see. But it could be a completely different. I could have got it completely wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Uh, yeah, that's all. That was all. Yep. Just a point, because obviously I'm talking about buildings and the language of a building that it might be telling you something. I thought this was peculiar as well. This frame, this window. It's very odd, isn't it? Why would you do that? But it's all very nice, all neat. Uh, yeah, I had to do this. Sorry, guys. This is why the Earth has been quarried. Oh, this is 1899. Even at this time, well, at least in this picture, there isn't any machinery going on. It's just people digging, I suppose. So that's a quarry, by the looks of it. If you're German, you'll know. Uh, so I guess they've got what they wanted. They replanted the place, or it's just been a considerable amount of time later and things are just starting to come through again. And then you've got that. Yeah? But the point is I would say that's a quarry. Yeah. And this is the same place. Someone will go there and I'll say to them, that's a quarry. And they'll say, no, it's not. It's not a quarry. It's just the way the land is, you know, it's just the way, it's just geo movement. That's it. That's it. It's just the way it is. It's just nature. But you can make the mistake, if you see what I mean. The thing is, I look at this and I see that. Yeah. Well, I actually see this. This is what makes more sense to me when I look at these things. But most people, they don't see that. They don't envisage that that kind of thing has happened and been done in the past. All they see is rolling hills, you know. But what I'm saying is this is a quarry, yeah. And whenever you get this kind of feature in nature, that kind of thing, ground level is always at the top. This isn't ground level down here. This is just where they've dug down to. Yeah. Like in that picture, when they were mid digging, and here, yeah, because they've had to walk down from ground level, had to walk down into it. See. Anyway, just going on one now. I'm really confused about this. Um, this apparently is in Rome. What happened there? I can't zoom in anymore. Sorry. Well, take a look at this. Look at look at these. They're like solid marble blocks. Well, a little bit's been. What's going on here? I don't know what's going on. This is a ruin. Was that an aqueduct at one point or something? I'm not. I don't know. Nothing makes sense in this picture. What's going on? I don't understand. No, is that just shading or something? You know, why go to the bother of all this detail, the cracks in the pavements, and not do this? He's even done the sky. No chemtrails. Yeah, I don't understand. The next photo is like this section or this section, I think, and it makes no sense to me at all. I just do not know what's going on. This is in Rome, by the way. I mean, that looks like a sunken horse head to me. What is that? But why are they holes going through? Or are they things sticking out? It's a bit of an optical illusion now. I just, what? What is it? What is this building? What function did it serve? It seems to have a function. What's all this stuff sticking out? I don't know. Maybe you guys have an idea. But yeah, very, very odd. Very strange. So yeah, I guess it just makes a point that not all structures were dwellings. I guess it's the most I can say about that because I haven't got a clue. I just thought this was a nice photograph. I don't think it says where it is. Does it? Oh, it does. I can't even read it, let alone pronounce it. Sorry, guys. This reminds me of Martin's post when he's talking about Leaning Tower of Pisa. Question is, if this being ground level, what's supporting it? How comes it doesn't just topple over? And of course, the answer is because this isn't ground level. Ground level's far. Let's just say here, for say's sake, there's ground level, and this building continues all the way down to here. So from here to there is just ground that's moved. It's kind of solidified at some point in the past. There has to be heat involved. I'm pretty sure of that. And the ground's become unstable, and that's started to go over. But then it wasn't for very long, and then it stops and it's set again, setting this building at that angle. Now, the burning question is, why haven't we seen this? Everyone's seen Pisa, haven't we? Everyone knows that one. What about this one? Huh? So you just noticed the little aerial again, you know? This is kind of like a dome, but it's not a dome, is it? It's kind of triangular, so would that be the dome part and this be the meter that's telling you one way or the other? Was that its function as a building? Or take these off, stick some clocks in there, stick a bell in this part, take all the stuff out that was in here and everything, yeah, put a cross somewhere, you know, or a couple of little figurines of a monk or, you know, a pope or something like that, and then it's just a church steeple. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yeah. But wow, who knew? What's that? Yeah, I just thought I'd throw this in because that was on Facebook. It just came up at the same time. That's a Tesla tower, by the way, apparently. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? And then this also came up as well. Just note that there's a dome there. Is it all just some weird, strange coincidence? Rest for you to decide, guys and girls. I'm going to leave a link, of course. You could get lost in here for about a year, I think, so have fun. Have fun. Look, it's lovely, isn't it? If only I was German and I could read it all. What's it? 1864. Oh, a little German poem to God. Mud flood, mud flood, mud flood. It's not going down, it's just going away from you. It's perspective. Yeah. It's everywhere. Evidence is everywhere. Okay, well, I hope it wasn't too boring. I found it interesting, so thought I'd take you guys along for the ride. Hope you enjoyed it, and please submit to Flat Earth British, Martin Leakey, and please comment your observations on this. No man is the oracle, so yeah, please comment, and yeah, I just hope it wasn't too boring. Anyway, I thought I might put some music on, but it'd probably be distracting, wouldn't it? All right then, so bye bye.